I'm already here.
That's right.
I'm here. I hit the record button. I did my job.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I need to step away for just a second. I'll be right back. We are live.
So you're not ready to go live.
I will be in 2 minutes. All right, bye.
Oh. What?
Oh, no, can't do that. That's a production meeting. I was just about to spoil what we talked about in our production meeting yesterday. Nope, can't do that.
I was just about to do nothing besides pull up our Twitch channel.
Yep, I just changed all my groups out. So changing to my different group of tabs, one of which is that, and get rid of last week's show notes. Let's see if he sent the new ones. He did. Open that one.
I've got those.
Drag that one over here.
It sounds like
Let's have a
you
look
weren't
at...
prepared.
Fuck no, dude. I'm never prepared. Okay. Great. We've only got a small section for Open Night Live. Great. Because I didn't watch a thing of that. I'm not interested.
Oh, for your thing. Gotcha. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Never mind.
No. Like, look at the news stories. Gamescom Open Night Live is like 4 points.
Oh,
it's like, good.
I didn't even see that at the bottom. There wasn't
anything from it except for I got fed the news. Hey, there's a new. God damn it.
Look at the notes. They're right there.
I know. I got told, hey, there's a new Xbox. No, the reason I said God damn it is because I accidentally opened the YouTube tab. And the top of my list is the AEW All In London Media Scrum, which is the post show. It's currently going live. The main event of tonight's match was Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson in a title versus career match. If Swerve won, Danielson was retired. Period. Again, because he's only got a couple of months left, he says, anyway. If Danielson won, he took the title from Swerve. And, like, it starts doing that autoplay thing, where it just starts doing the autoplay of the video without any sound.
Yep.
And Bryan Danielson walks in with the title belt. I was like, God damn it, I haven't seen that match, you piece of shit.
Thank you, YouTube.
Oh.
And thank you for spoiling it for everybody else who's going to be listening to this who also didn't see it.
If they didn't see it live, they can go away. Jamie Hayter returned, which was
says the same guy just complaining about it.
Yeah, but then they're not going to see this because it's not, it's not like anybody is going to sit there and listen to the pre-show before they watch the wrestling pay-per-view. I just got the main event spoiled for me, Boston.
Oh, hey, fun. Have fun. How good.
And then he just spoiled it for everyone else.
Well, there you go.
And then he's saying that we don't have any listeners, so it doesn't matter.
Not anyone listening right now.
I was about to say, like, I'm just putting a bit of a slant on it, I think. All right.
It wasn't that hard of a slant that I had to put on that.
Well, it's just like 2 degrees, maybe.
It was pretty accurate.
You guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Quick plug here, patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That is fun for a $5. We're not lying over there. Please don't stress. But that gets you everything, including the uncensored weekly Outcast, which is where we're talking about all the other stuff other than video games. Moon and I get into a little bit of Assassin's Creed because we're literally the only two that care about future Google, so we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
Get into some of that over there, and talk about all the other stuff that's going on in our lives. You also get early access to We Rogue Like It and Critical Misses. You get exclusive access at the $5 tier to the Critical Misses production meeting. Boy, we got one coming up. We got a real... Season 32's one.
Hey, guess what happened, folks?
Guess what happened?
You'll never guess.
I'll leave you to figure out, but if you've listened to those before, hey, guess what happened? And you get exclusive access to the Wayward Sons, the Supernatural TV show watchcast, where Moon and the Nimp are clicking right through that show.
Yep.
Driving down that road.
close to wrapping up season 2.
Nice. Only 3 more seasons to go, and the show's over.
Yeah.
Five clean seasons.
Ask a lot of fans.
Wait, I'm getting a note here that
say.
season 5 is not the... Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nope, everything was canceled after that.
Yep, yeah, it's the end of... Heroes had 1 season, this had 5 seasons, it's all good.
Boy, Heroes.
I will be honest, dude. If you ask the fans, a lot of people will say, maybe stop after season 5.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
ignore the other 10 after that, yeah.
That's right, you want to hear all about that, go over to patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones and numbers.
We have a quick note here that there's a brand new Game Club recap episode that is out in the feed right now. If you're listening to the audio version, for
you remembered.
I did remember. For Magical Delicacy, we did play that. I think it's our longest Game Club recording, potentially.
It might be. It might be.
Over an hour of complicated feelings about a complicated game.
It's either a very, very positive episode or a very, very negative episode.
It's got a little bit of everything for you over there. Moon and I had some complex feelings about
video games are meant to draw out feelings, and it sounds like it drew out maybe a very
is supposed to make you feel stuff
feeling.
And we felt the human spectrum for that one. So
that is true.
So go check that out. I think even if you haven't played it, go check out a demo, and if you're not feeling it, go listen to the episode. Our next game though is Clickholding, that is on Steam. It's about $3, is about 45 minutes, and if you play it along with us, we'll discover what it's about as well. Go check that out over there. Moon, before we get over to you, I realized that last week we forgot to plug the pinball place you went to down in Florida. Do you want to plug what place that is before we get to your stuff?
Hold on.
I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but I realized when listening back to that stuff that we talked a lot about the machines you played and how cool the place was, but I don't think we actually name dropped the place itself.
I have to pull up
Busters.
That's right.
No, I have to pull up a map because I don't know where it is except by looking at a map for it.
Okay.
It is the Pinball Palace in Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia.
Pinball Palace. There you go. So if you want to check out a very cool in Brunswick, Georgia, it looks like. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's a place right by me called the Pinball Palace that is now on my to-go-to list.
Everybody loves alliteration. Man, how can you...
Apparently, yes.
How can you go wrong? So go check out the Pinball Palace, which is where they checked out. So, anyways,
I was logged into my Google account on this PC, and I'm like, why is there millions of dots all over my map? And it's like, it's just points of interest I keep pointing to.
No.
Because it's stuff like it. It's reminders of places I'd like to go at some point.
Oh, sure.
Time and money allowing and all that jazz.
Yeah. All right, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Speaking of pinball,
somebody got the bug.
I've been playing a lot of pinball, dude. A lot of pinball. And the worst part is I can't even break my own stupid brain because I'm playing Pinball FX2. But I'm only playing the Sorcerer's Lair table, which is the table you start with in the game. Because it's the table I need the achievements for.
Yeah, because that's the one where
that's
we can actually put the achievements in.
Yeah. Well, every other table has an achievement in it. Almost all the other tables have at least one achievement, and I'm missing a whole bunch of them. But it's not the Retail 1000, which is the thing that itches at my brain, is the Retail 1000. So I play way too much of the Sorcerer's Lair table because I literally have the hardest achievements to go, is the problem I'm running into with this.
Okay.
And when was the last time you earnestly touched this particular game or table?
Okay, I can tell you that because I can probably pull that thing up.
I want to see how much of a I'm trying to see how big of a cliff are you trying to climb right now?
Right.
Well, the problem is, my actual memory of playing, like my muscle memory, my hand feel for the table is actually still really great. Like I dropped a $400 million point score on it like 2 days ago.
Okay.
And my top score is like 512 million. So I'm not.
Okay, so you're not too far
off.
Yeah,
you're not hitting 5,000 and calling it a day.
Right, exactly.
So, but the problem is the 3 achievements I have. One of them is a mode. There is just happens to be the mode that has the shot that I hate the most in it. Which is just a tower is raised and you have to go up a particular ramp on the tower. It's very, very awkward shot for me. I just struggle with it. And then the other 2 achievements on that table are Perfectionist, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's complete all of the main modes. And then Obsidian Obsession, which is collect all of the obsidian.
Oh, boy.
So 2 achievements which are literally, hey, bro, be perfect. Thank you very much.
Like you got to be the best in this table.
Yeah.
One might say that you have to be a wizard at the table.
Boo! Boo!
What? Am I wrong?
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And for the record, so I got the Pathfinder achievement, which is the 6-way combo on the Sorcerer's Lair table on the 17th of August, 2014.
Nice. Oh, God.
I got the Afraid of No Ghosts achievement on the Sorcerer's Lair table. There's a bunch between, but I got that achievement on the 24th of June, 2016.
Oh, boy.
And then, like, yesterday? Was it yesterday? Or was it today? Whatever. I got an achievement for doing a different tables achievement, for doing the Wild West table, essentially.
So, really, you're coming back for the 10th anniversary.
Literally 10 years after the game came out. And
yeah,
that's why you still got it, because you're used to dropping this game for years on end and coming back.
Exactly. So I've been coming back to the same game so long that they have released an entirely new upgrade to this game with all of the tables and everything in it, and then done it again.
Right.
In the time it's taken me to play this game.
Right.
So I'm 2 generations it's the Hitman thing all over again.
Oh, no.
I'm like,
it is
2 generations behind everything. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But so the problem I have is the reason why I'm still playing it and not just throwing my hands in the air is because I go back into it. It's like, I remember these shots. I remember this table. I remember I can be good at this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right there. It's within eyesight, eyesight, within eye shot of it. It's like, I could do this. All I have to do is have one perfect run. That's not asking too much, is it? Just one perfect run.
I remember how to ride the bike. It's easy.
There is 5 extra balls on this table, and I can get 4 of them consistently. It's not that hard to be perfect.
You're so
Spoiler alert, it's really impossible.
You're so close.
Yes. So yes. I will say, in the meantime, between playing that table, every now and again I'm jumping out and I'm just playing random other tables. It's the pinball problem. I don't want to play a different table because I don't know the table. I don't know how to get the extra balls. I don't know how to maximize my score in that table. To do so, I'd have to sink 5 hours into the table and start understanding all the shot angles and everything like that, which I don't want to do, except I don't want to sit here and play Sorcerer's Lair for the rest of my life.
But
That's
you also don't want to lose your Sorcerer's Lair mojo either.
Exactly. So I'll jump out and I'll be like, okay, what tables do I not have an achievement on? Or, more importantly, because nobody cares anymore except for me, what tables do I not have that little symbol saying I have the highest score on my friends list on?
Ah.
Are you just saying that
Stern
because...
Stern Insider, this is how you do it. You give me a little symbol telling me I'm number 1 on my friends list. That's what you do.
Are you just trying to reignite the pinball wars? Is that what's happening here?
Because I crushed everybody the last time the pinball wars happened.
Also,
those still sound like fighting words,
the
man.
10-year anniversary of the pinball wars as well.
Yeah.
I literally crushed everybody, and I did not get my T-shirt for it. That's how much I crushed everybody. I didn't get my prize because nobody wanted to play with me anymore.
Everyone was so salty afterwards.
I am that kid who
Right.
ruins the game for everybody. That's me. Can't help it. It's the thing though, like I go into the menu and I see this wall of tables and it's like it's got a little symbol on the top of it in the middle to say that I have the achievement. And like, great, I got that achievement, except for Sorcerer's Lair that's got 7 or 8 of them. And I'm missing 3 of them, which is very annoying. But all the other tables have one table and then there's a little symbol to say, oh, you have the achievement in there, or if it's not there, you don't have the achievement. And then on the left, it's got like a little hourglass symbol. And that hourglass symbol is like, oh, look at the left column. Hourglass, 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 hourglass. Look at the second column. Hourglass, hourglass. Wait, where's my hourglass gone? Who beat me on that table? And then I load up that table, and I play that table until I have the hourglass back again. And then I move on to the next table.
See, I was always at the bottom. I just made sure I was at least not the bottom.
Right.
That's all I cared about.
That was usually me.
Yeah.
See, the ironic thing is, I wouldn't define myself as a sore loser. It's like, oh, cool, you got better, you're better than me. That's fine. But if I know I can do better, I don't rub it in people's faces. I rub it in my own face of like, you could do better. I'm like a dog rubbing his own head into his pee to explain how he's made a mistake. Like, just push my face into the screen and being like, you could do better. You know you could do better. Why are you
better than this? And mine is usually like, I finish a run, I'm like, God, I did so great. I got like 15 million. I look at them like, there are billions? And I'm like, I'm not even.
That's when I stopped. I don't remember what table it was, but it was the same thing. Man, I did really good on that. And I look, and I'm like 8th place. Because the other 2 people weren't trying that hard, and I'm like,
how many zeros?
Yeah, this isn't for me. Yeah,
yeah.
Not to say I didn't enjoy playing them.
Right.
It's just I am never going to achieve, and I'm not going to put in the time to achieve that high of a score.
But I mean, that's the best thing for me is like a quick run on Sorcerer's Lair is like 45 minutes for me now. Any other table, it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So like I can do we all know I'm not in a great situation like that right now, so my time is limited. So it's like, okay, I've got 20 minutes until I need to go to bed. So I'll jump in and I'll play a random table that I don't have an achievement on, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to go for the achievement. Because, like, this is the whole achievement thing and high scores in this kind of situation is, it's not a competition against other people. It's a competition against myself.
Oh, sure.
So, like, yeah, can I unlock this achievement? Potentially. Let's give it a go. And then I will just... It's me competing against myself to unlock that achievement until I unlock it. And it's like, cool, I did the thing I wanted to do. Also, I saved money because I'm spending time playing this game because I'm making sure to wring every single red cent out of this game. Despite the fact that I have 800 games ready to be installed because I had disposable income and 800 games that I haven't played yet. But we don't talk about that when we talk about this.
Right, don't worry.
Those are rainy day games.
Yeah.
Yes.
The pinball wars are calling.
But the high score thing is the exact same thing, where it's like, okay, I got 200 million. There's Mackie's name or Chuck's name above me with... Chuck is the top of my wizard, like, super scores because... He destroys everybody because he's played the most tables and got a high score in all of them because it gives you multipliers and stuff like that. It's like, I ain't never touching Chuck on that front.
Right.
That's
a different
Chuck
league.
Could take that one.
Yeah.
Because I can't buy the alien tables anymore because they've been delisted from the store. Which, by the way, the Pinball FX3 and new Pinball FX versions of the alien tables, they were on sale for Romulus on mobile, on Switch. Not on the Xbox. Why not?
Lame.
Give me them on sale, please. Thank you very much.
That's right.
Anyway, but if I see someone's high score above me, that's not me saying I'm better than them. Because I'm never going to reach out and send a message to them saying, with Stranger Things in Florida being the
exception.
The exception to the rule. But that's because Mackie had to run up and point his score out in my face. But that's fine. I just return the favor. But it's not me saying I am better than them. It's like, okay, can I be as good as them? Can I better myself to their level? Can I better myself to the next person's level? Can I better myself to the person after that level?
Right.
It's a challenge against myself, not a challenge against them.
Right.
Because I don't literally like point it out unless there's a competition on the line, a legitimate competition, in which case I will destroy everybody. Don't come at me, bro.
See, there it is, right there. You just always have to take that extra step.
Yep.
But I don't. So I don't like real-time PvP because things can get heated super quick.
Oh yeah, there's so much trash talking that no one actually means, but it can be taken personally real quick. Yeah.
And people say stuff they don't mean to and whatever. Whereas this way, it's like, no, I can sit there and take the time, get angry, get annoyed, and I don't have to do it at someone's faces. If I'm angry and annoyed at myself, like, why can't I hit that stairway ramp again? I need that achievement. Let me hit the stairway ramp again, please. Let me hit the stairway ramp.
Right.
Hate the stairway ramp. But it's that thing where it's like, I don't have to worry about it. There's no ill intentions. It's like, cool, I got a better score.
Right.
It's only when people put this stuff in spreadsheets and start tallying them up to see who's the best of the best that I have to parachute in there and show who's boss.
Right.
I just
member
remember
of the British Empire.
Yeah.
Right here. British Empire, baby. I'm kidding. British Empire is one of the worst things that ever happened to this planet. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Among them, not the worst, but
it's up there.
It's close. It's close.
You're in the top list, yeah.
Yeah. If there's a top 5 of worst things to happen to planet Earth, the British Empire is right there somewhere.
Right.
Meteor, maybe British Empire.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Death of the Dinosaurs, Ice Ages, British Empire. I'm trying to find the name of the table that I played. It's a Western one. I just don't know what the exact name of it is. So, I don't know. I guess I'm never going to know what it is. But yes, I played a whole bunch of Pinball FX2. Let's see. What else here? Magical Delicacy. Boston already talked about that. Go Mecha Ball. Check out We Rogue Like It. Comes out every week. I almost said every 2 weeks. That's the other show.
Yep.
Comes out every week alongside this one. Give it a listen to. Patrons get first access, so on and so forth. The only other thing I played was just a skosh of Dying Light 2. Just a skosh. Just a tiny little skosh. I really hate everybody in this game, dude.
Dude, oh my god. Me and Angel, I
NPC
talked about that. There is not
terrible.
A single good person in that game. No one is likable. Even your own character sometimes.
He's potentially the worst, but like even like I met the preacher for the first time, the one who tried to hang you in the intro of the game. I met him for the first time because I skipped the tutorial kind of thing, and the dude is dressed like he's an Assassin's Creed wannabe, and I was like, guys, it's the wrong Ubisoft game.
Right.
This is Aiden.
Yeah.
Aiden has the iconic cap, not Altair.
That's right.
You're doing things backwards there. I mean, it's Dying Light. I'm running around at nighttime deliberately getting into chases because I want the experience points, because I need those agility skills so fast, because I'm getting a little fed up of not being able to do the tuck and roll at the end of a jump. You know, the thing free runners do where they jump off a 5-story building and then just do a little roll and they're fine.
Like a basic thing.
It's amazing how much of that stuff they hide behind a skill tree. It's so kind of annoying.
Like, that's the thing that I loved about Mirror's Edge. Is Mirror's Edge was never had a skill tree in the first one. It's like all of the abilities were there. It was up to you to get good and then figure out what they were. Like the run from wall to wall to wall to ledge in Mirror's Edge, that was just something you came across instinctually by doing the controls in that manner. It's like, I wonder if this works, and yes, it does. Great. And then you integrate that into the way you play. Whereas this is like, yo, you want to run sideways across the wall, across a gap? Get to level 50, and then we'll see how you feel then.
Right.
Because maybe you want to do it at that point.
I feel like if they had just done a mix where it's like you have like the base versions of all the skills you had in the first game, and the skill tree is just increasing it, where it's like you can run it farther now, you can jump higher now, kind of thing. Instead of it being no, you just flat out can't do this until you get to whatever level cap we placed it at.
Like the launch off small things is so satisfying. Like be it a zombie or be it like a planter that you put your foot on, you hit the jump button, and you go like 4 times higher, even though it physically shouldn't happen that way. And then you make it so high or so far just by launching off something a little bit lower. It's so good. And it's like, cool, where's that? Oh, it's 5 things down in the skill tree.
Yeah, you have to be like level 20 to even get to it. And at that point, you're halfway through the game. It's like, well, now I have to remember that I can do this now because I spent the past 20 hours remembering that I can't do it.
Right.
And like even something as simple as the baseball slide. Like I missed the baseball slide. I'm sick and fed up of running directly into a wall and then crouching and then standing up, especially when I'm getting chased. Also, thanks for the spoiler, Boston. I didn't know he was a boss, but that's great.
Oh, sorry.
You're not even paying attention to the story. Don't lie. No one does.
I don't actually care that much. I've been making veiled Rongan jokes directed at this particular person for a while now. Although, honestly, I'm making jokes about everybody in this game. Like the girl who's got the a-hole brother, the church, the priest leader, the king of cops wannabe who tattoos his rank on his arm because materials. Don't get me wrong, story-wise, it's great. When they get an increase in rank, they change their tattoos, Boston, because materials are not there for them to make badges anymore. So they change the tattoo. Fantastic storyline reason for that to happen. You've got a needle and thread. Put an emblem on a patch.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Exactly. It's like, so you don't have the cloth to make a new badge, but somehow you have the correct needle and ink and electricity to,
Right.
Like they can't make a metal one. That much I get. So just do a badge insignia. Like just do a patch. That's all you got to do.
You can do it simple. Hey, guess what? You now have a red shoulder pad instead of the white shoulder pad. It's like, well, whatever. The lore in this game, I can't ever have a positive thing to say about it. That's why I stopped paying attention to it after a while.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is just so unbearable at the moment in time. I managed to talk down a kid from selling me something for 500 credits to 10. So it's like, okay, I'm a scumbag too, apparently.
Right.
I had $7,000 worth of like scrap in my inventory, and I talked this kid from 500 to 10. It's like, no, like this kid's trying to feed like her baby brother. Like this is a little bit ridiculous. But then I start a chase in the night, and I'm running across the rooftops, and I'm doing all of the good stuff. The good stuff, like, am I going to make this jump? Yes, I am. Ooh, I just about made it. Land on the thing, run away from it. Do the little... They have monkey bars between buildings now, which is just super satisfying because it's just like American Ninja Warrior your way across these gaps. And it's like, yeah, I'm a badass. It's super
satisfying until you misjudge your jump and you just barely miss them.
The same as everything. But that's the beauty of like... That was the great thing about Mirror's Edge, and the great thing about this is like that risk reward where it's like when you get in that moment where you're right on the edge, like you're moving so quickly and you're just doing instinctual things, but you nail it. Like you don't make a mistake, you nail it. It's like, great, this is great, it feels so good. And then when that mistake happens, it's so hilarious because you invariably jump off a building and land in the middle of a horde of zombies.
Right.
But that moment, that flow state of just right on the edge of the limit of what you can control or predict kind of thing, that sensation is still so good. I still love everything about that stuff. And like Nim said, the story is not going to be anything special. I'm going to hate everybody and everything by the time the game is finished.
Yep.
And oh, by the by, here is what is it, a 12-hour game that they've just announced? And it's like, yeah. I will happily take a 12-hour, not 80-hour Dying Light game.
Yeah, that's more like it.
So
I don't know if I could go
I guess
80,
I'll be playing
but...
that eventually. Dude, achievement problems.
I know.
We've already discussed this.
I'm just saying, 80's kind of a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to think about the amount of time I put into the first Dying Light, considering I also did all of the DLC for that game.
Oh, wow.
Like, in the DLC, you launched a nuke at yourself. Like, it was great. Terrible and great at the same time. But, I don't know. I like these games. I like the way they look. I like the way they feel. I like them as a very sensible but different evolution from the Dead Island series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know that Dead Island 2 is now on Game Pass, so that's probably something I'll need to look at eventually.
People really liked Dead Island 2.
They really liked that one. I know.
Does it still have weapon degradation in it?
I believe so.
I believe so, but I believe it was way, way lessened from the first one.
Oh, okay.
Like, it wasn't nearly the same.
That's what killed it for me for the first one.
Yeah, it did. Well, part of what killed me for the first one is the weapon degradation was eventually fine, but, like, when you finish that game and you're like, all right, great, that was great. And it's like, yep, all right, area 2. And it's like, nope, I can't do that, all of that again. That's not going to work.
Oh, so the only thing I didn't do on Dying Light 1 was the wave-based horde mode that was designed for 4 people, because trying to get 4 people together to play that thing is difficult for endgame content.
Yeah.
And I played that game for 3 days and 8 hours.
Nice.
Jeez.
So when I say 60 to 80, I ain't messing around.
Yeah.
It's a little ridiculous, but I'm playing it in 45-minute chunks. This is the problem I have. Like, I want to start Dragon's Dogma. I want to do Alan Wake. I want to do Control. I want to do all these, but these are all games that I feel like I'm robbing myself if I sit down and play it for 10 minutes. It's like I did nothing. Like, that's why I like the pinball games or roguelikes, because I can sit down, do 10, 15, 20 minutes and be done and feel like I actually got something out of it. Whereas if I load up Control, it's like, well, I'm here for 2 hours now.
Yeah,
no,
like you want to do a
like,
big chunk of it.
Exactly. Like, and the only reason I'm doing this in smaller chunks is because I'm playing it with Rob, and it's a case of whatever we get the time is whenever we're going to play it.
Right.
Mostly on my schedule, because my world is a problem right now.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like Dying Light 1. Dying Light 2 seems to be in a similar vein, aka gameplay is great, story is trash. I still hate the armored zombies, the cops in the riot gear.
Yeah.
Get away
Especially
from
at this point in time. It's like
it's too early. Like, you should not see them until you have better weapons to deal with them.
Well, between that and this takes place technically, 10 years after the first one? 5-10 years, something like that. So it's like at this point, it's like that gear should have kind of eroded at this point, you know?
Yeah, well,
whatever.
They still suck. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Nimp, tell me about your JRPG of choice. I'm taking a guess at this week.
No, not this week.
Oh.
Unfortunately for you. First thing I've got on my list is PowerWash Simulator. I have finally conquered the tree fort.
Excuse me, sorry. I'm remembering the image that you posted in the Discord.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
After the tree house, there is the temple, which the special achievement for that level was that there's a gnome at the very top of the temple, and it has to be up there when you complete 100% it.
Right.
That took a while because I decided, it's like, well, I'm going to knock down the gnome, and I'm going to clean off that top section that it's standing on, and I'm going to put it back. And then I can just worry about the rest of it and not have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I could not get that stupid gnome to stay up there, to put it back, to save anything. And when I was looking it up online, at some point there was a patch that went through with one of the updates, and it fixed it so that if you quit the game and go back into it, the gnome is just reset at the top.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So I quit the game, go back into it. Yep, there's the gnome all the way up top. I'm like, cool.
Nice.
Don't have to screw, because I'm not kidding. 5 to 10 minutes trying to get that stupid gnome to stand up on this tiny little platform.
I did exactly the same thing where I'm like, all right, I got it just fine. I'm going to leave it alone. Wait, he fell to the ground. Okay. Yep. Climb down, climb all the way back up, try and and he's always wobbling and sliding. It's
and he's
why is this happening to me?
Yeah. So that saved a lot of aggression on that, and that was a nice, fun, short level too that I didn't have to think too hard about. The next level after that is the washroom, and what Boston was talking about was I was playing this game in the dark, and my son just happened to walk in and talk, and we were talking, and I got into the main section of the washroom, and it's all tile.
Yep.
I'm like, cool. How filthy is this? And I click my button for it to show me where the dirt is, and it was staring directly into the sun.
An actual flashbang.
like I swore out loud. I was like, what is going on?
What have you done to me?
And it took a second for my eyes to adjust, and I had to turn my lights back on and stuff. But I took two pictures. One was a screenshot of just pure yellow.
Yeah.
Which everyone was like, what is that? And so I explained it. And then I took, with my camera, a picture of my TV, which then shows how that quickly goes from yellow to bright white, because my TV does great with bright colors, I'm finding out. And yeah, you can't see anything else in my room except for what's right there.
Just
in
a
front
moment
of
of like a vampire in the sun of just hiss.
Yeah. Oh, that was ridiculous. But anyway, so because everything is dirty, you can just start wherever. The achievement for this level is that you need to clean the toilets last. I think it's the toilet lid, the seat, and the actual toilet.
Yep. I hated this one.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of them in there. They all have their own little rooms, and of course, I cleaned out the first room for the toilet, the stall.
Yeah.
And I'm edging it towards, the edges of the toilet, because you can still clean parts of these, you just can't 100% clean them. They have to be the last thing. So I've got everything done with the room. It's just the pipe that is behind the lid.
Yes.
There's a pixel somewhere that I haven't hit.
Yep.
And it's not giving me 100% on that stupid pipe. I'm like, okay, so this is apparently the problem section for all 4 of these now.
Yep.
So I've already cleared out. So it's just to paint a mental picture. If you think of a U, the parts of the U going up are the hallway leading into the bottom where it bends, and that's where the urinals and the toilet stalls are. So I've completed the whole right-hand section of the U. I have not done the actual bend part where all the rest of the stalls are, and I'm thinking of just going and finishing the other part of the U that's going up.
Right.
And then I'm going to mess with those stalls, but that is going to be such a pain. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out, it's like, how big are the hitboxes on these?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to squirt, in between the lid and the seat to get to this pipe. And I'm like, okay, that did it.
You're aiming at it and you go, psst. Okay, that didn't do it. Aim a little bit left. Psst. Okay, that didn't do it. It's just like one little psst right at it.
And I'm hitting my dirt finder, and nothing is coming up yellow.
Mm-hmm. And you're like,
so it's like,
I don't want to spray too much.
Exactly. So it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna just gently spray this area. And this is why at some points with this game, I can only play it for so long, because up to this point, barring certain achievements, I have the auto thing locked, so it's just constantly spraying.
Yeah.
So these are the points where I hate, where you have to get pixel perfect, and you can't tell where that one pixel is, and so you're just sitting there, just spurting it every once in a while. Just okay, oh, that didn't do it. Nope. Okay, and oh crap, now I did too much.
And that's why I like that. At least in the DLC, a lot of the times they're going to clean this thing first and then do everything. That's way, because you can just pull up that big itinerary list of all the things, highlight the one thing, it's flashing wherever it is, clean that thing first, and if you miss it, if you actually clean something next to it first, you just restart the level. You've only been in there for 30 seconds. You clean that, you get the trophy, and then you're moving on, and you can just clean the rest of it. I think that's way better. I'm
going to be so annoyed if I have to redo this map, because it's not bad. And I have the upgraded washer. I think I'm on the heavy now.
Okay.
And then after this, I think it's just the pro that I'm saving up for, which I have almost enough money to buy just the washer handle, but I don't have enough for attachments or anything yet. So cleaning this up is going really well with the heavy duty version that I have.
Right. But it's a pretty fun level overall too.
Yeah, it's just that one thing. And there's a random gnome in the toilet in the last stall.
Of course. Yep.
I don't know why, but
why not?
Yeah. So that's how that's going so far. Eventually my daughter and I will play. We're still doing the house. I haven't played with her this week because school started back up for them, so they had schoolwork and stuff to deal with. But my next game that I'm playing is Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have very, very frothy comments about the dual mission.
You popped into the
I had
Discord
a two-sentence, very, very aggressive two-sentence that I popped into Discord that I just had to blurt out.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what your experience was, because you're not the only one to be frustrated by Dual Destiny easily.
So, okay. The primary thing that is making this so frustrating for me is that it is on a timer.
Yes.
And as soon as that timer hits 0, it's instant kill.
Yeah, it kicks you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not restart the mission. No, it's a return to orbit. So I have to wait for the load screen to go back to orbit. Then I have to wait for the load screen to go back into the mission.
Yeah, that's been one of Destiny's biggest, I think, accessibility misses, quality of life things. I've been on, based on Game Club, where I'm sort of on a quality of life kick here.
Yeah.
It's one of those things of like, Destiny needs to be better about, once this thing, all these missions are supposed to be secrets, and the community finds them, and then somebody posted a YouTube video, and now everybody, after a while, just be a lot clearer. Like, everybody's done this. It's 2 months old. How close am I to unlocking it? Where exactly do I do this? Give me an icon on the map just to start it. Like, it's already been out. Everybody who cares about it being a secret has done it already, the quote-unquote
and has already written up aids to help you unlock it. Yeah,
exactly. So, like, it's one of those things of, like, you should be able to pick it from a map now. You should be able to, when you fail, because, like it or not, part of the thing about the timed missions is you're not going to do it the first time. And that's fine, but you need to make the friction between running it the first time and the third and the fifth and the 10th time way less. Because, like you're saying, now you have to go back to the Pale Heart, and you got to run to where the mission is, and both of you have to be there, and you have to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's annoying.
So that's one gripe. And this isn't a new gripe. I have griped for a very long time that I feel Destiny 2 does not respect the player's time.
Right.
I enjoy grinding. Moon made the comment, what JRPG are you playing this week?
Right.
Those games are nothing but grinds. I have no problems grinding.
That's what my brain likes.
Yeah. The other issue I'm running into is we have run these several times. Mm-hmm. You have to be light level, I think, 1955? Like, you or your friend, like whoever, have to be light level 1955 to even initiate this mission. I am still getting item drops, weapon equipment, that are dropping at 1943.
Oh, okay. So
this is useless.
Oh, so you're like it's dropping stuff that's underneath your light level. It's dropping stuff
so far beneath me that I'm like, why am I getting these?
Right. Like why don't you just give me money?
This isn't helping me. Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the other thing too, is a lot of the community is like, well, just grind up and get more equipment. I don't want to grind in this game anymore. Like I don't want to deal with this game in that aspect.
Right.
So telling me that, okay, well, you just need to spend 10, 15, 20 more hours grinding out these different missions to get higher equipment. No, my son will do it. He still enjoys it. And that's, perfectly fine. That's why I also said in my Discord rant, I hope people who still enjoy Destiny enjoy this. But it is not, like, this is the most frustrating experience I've had with this game right now.
And, like, that continues to be the anchor that's dragging Destiny down of, like, and it was the thing that the Fireteam level stuff was supposed to solve, and it does, like, 9 times out of 10, but there's stuff like this where it's fine that you're not quite ready to do this exotic mission. That's not a problem. And it sounds like your son largely is, and that's good. But
he's like level 2004.
Right. And it's like there just should be a little bit more help. Like we're past the point now where everybody who plays Destiny 2 has played it for 10 years, and they've got all the meta loadouts, and they have the god rolls, and you know they have everything, and you need to bring new or returning players in, and all of this stuff stops people like you from enjoying this game that you want to enjoy.
Yep.
Like, we're past the point where it's just like, get to grinding, you only have 40 hours left until you can do this mission. It's like, no.
I still have my original equipment from when I was enjoying the grind.
Right.
You know, like things that I have fun stories about.
Right.
But so continuing with all of this, the timing, you know, the having to wait for the loads and all that. This whole mission is basically one player is considered light aligned and the other player is considered dark aligned.
Yep.
And there are certain portals that certain like daises that you have to find eventually that the correct person has to stand on the dark one, the other one has to stand on the light one, and this will open up the path for you to progress.
Yep.
And then it turns into, you get to a point, there will be two bosses that spawn, like mini bosses that spawn. One of them can only take damage from the character that has the light. The other one can only be taking damage from the character that has the dark.
Right.
Still not an issue. The issue then becomes you kill these things enough times. I think the first time you have to kill them twice. They drop a mote, which they don't do all the time, which I'll get into later why it's infuriating. And then another puzzle opens up in the middle of this fight. And what happens is it switches back and forth. I think it's like 2 or 3 times you have to do this kind of thing. And you have to get more motes as you continue on. But one of you gets a list of symbols that you have to read off or call out. And the other person has to find those symbols randomly floating, well, not randomly, but floating like within the area. Yeah. And then they have to shoot the crystal that is underneath that symbol. And then once you've shot enough of them, the first time around, there's only 2 of them that you have to do. So once you shoot the 2 that you need, you get transported to another area and you do the same thing.
Yeah.
The entire time you're being timed.
Yeah.
Like the timer does not stop. If that timer hits 0, you're dead and you go back to orbit. So trying to figure that out, my son and I have been trying to do this for a while now. I am super aggravated, like to the point of just constantly yelling swear words at my TV.
Right.
And I know my wife is at the point of being like, will you just shut up? Like, I'm sick and tired of listening
please
to
stop
swear
playing this game you hate.
And there are times where I have rage quit.
Right.
Like this particular mission. Because of physics and bouncing off of things and constantly, I don't know why, I constantly get blown off ledges, and this is nothing but ledges.
Yep.
And so I have to waste time to climb back up to get to where I need to be so we can continue on. That's probably more on me, but God, do I hate the physics in this game. But anyway, so you have to do that scenario with the motes 3 times. The last one was the one that we were stuck on that we finally got through today. I was like, cool, this is the first time we've beaten this.
Yep, you're making progress.
It puts us into a new area, and it's like, all right, go explore. You have 10 minutes until you die.
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool. So now we're trying to figure out where do we go now, because we haven't been in this area before. So we're trying to figure out where to go. I always get lost in these things because to me, the pathing is never really clear.
It's not intuitive, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I always jump onto things where I'm like, is this the path? And I'm looking around and I can't find it, or the path is like right behind me but slightly higher on a ledge that I think that I can't get to, or I jump to a ledge that I'm like, I should be able to make that, and I'm like, nope, could not. So now I'm dead and waiting to revive, kind of thing. And we get to a point finally where we could start taking out random mobs that showed up, and then we ran out of time.
Yeah.
And then we got killed. And I looked up a guide because of how annoyed I was
There's no shame in it.
Well, and I don't have an issue not looking up a guide. Like, my biggest hang up with this mission is if it wasn't timed, I would be perfectly fine with how this is going.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I just need to understand the level. I just need to figure out, where we need to be going. But since we have that time element, we don't have the time
to figure it out.
My son, doesn't have the time for dear old dad to figure out where's the next platform, platform I'm supposed to be jumping to, because I don't play this as much as he does anymore.
Well, and the game doesn't. There's a matter of setting expectations too, because if you've been playing for a while, you see a timed mission and you're like, okay, this is a sprint to the end, and we're just making it a little further every run, but we know we're going to be here. Let's say it's a 20-minute timed mission. We know we're going to be here for 2 or 3 hours for our first run, and then you get it down and you kind of have your path. But there's nothing going in. There's no expectations set. So there's no idea of like, is this a 10-minute mission? Do I get enough time each time I complete something that is a 45-minute mission? How many encounters through it am I? Like, where am I supposed to be going or doing? Like, it's... I totally understand your frustration.
Well, and then I had figured, looking at one of the guides, that we made it roughly to the halfway point of this mission today for like the first time.
Yeah, it sounds about there. Yeah.
So then because basically what's going on in the video right now, that's exactly where we were at when our timer died.
This like crisscross jumping area.
Yeah, that took me a little bit to figure out. The next part that I see while looking at a guide, there's like this whole puzzle aspect.
Is involving like the clock puzzle. Yeah.
Everyone calls it a clock thing, yeah. Mm-hmm. So the first puzzle that you have to do, when I was talking about the symbols you have to read, there's 26 symbols but you have to know.
You don't have to worry about, like, you can just call them whatever you want. It's like, oh, red and orange snake. Sure, all right.
But that's the problem, is like trying for him and I to convey this back and forth to each other. Like, I pulled up a chart. Where's my phone? I took a screenshot of this stupid thing and sent it to him.
Moon knows the Vow of the Disciple symbols map. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And I cropped it.
Drink, kill, snake, empty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, what we're going to do is just look at it. You find the symbol that's on here, and then we're going to call out, hey, it's stop. It's in the top left.
Right.
Referring to the chart that I have.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing, and it's been working out. We've been getting used to it. There's a couple of them that we both know now that we're like, okay, the one that's got the red square, that's stop. We don't have to say where on the thing that is. But now there's this whole other aspect with whatever this clock thing is that I was reading that's apparently involving these symbols maybe, and the position of how a pyramid is lit up. And it's
That's not.
Okay.
So the clock.
Go ahead and explain it to me so that I know.
It's a classic Destiny thing of it looks more complicated than it is. Okay. Essentially, each player sees different numbers drawn on this clock. You just have to call out which ones you see. So if you're like, I see 1, 5, 8, and 9, and your son sees 2, 4, 8, and 9, you guys shoot 8 and 9 because it's the same.
Okay. Because reading the guides, I'm like, this is so convoluted. Like, how is anyone supposed to know any of this within the 10 minutes that you have of seeing it, and then figuring it out and then moving along?
YouTubers, mostly.
Yeah.
they go through the suffering so that we can, and like, once you get past those two puzzles, a lot of it from then on is like, oh, the next one combines minor portions of these two. Oh, the boss fight combines all of these things together, and you get kind of more time as you go through, because the faster you finish each section, the more time you get to do the next one. So like, you get more and more time as you go through, but like, especially that early frustrating section is like, okay, I don't even know what I'm doing or where I'm going or what's happening.
Yeah, because now we're at the point, like, there was one mission, like, I think it was the second time we had to do the moat mission thing, where it's like we got down to like 5 minutes. It's like, we might as well restart. There is no way we're going to be able to finish the third version of this within 5 minutes. Right. Like, we don't have the time to do that. And that gets aggravating, where it's like, I've already put in, like, today we played from 11 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, just trying to get through this. And besides saying that we made it halfway through that mission, I don't feel like we've done anything with this game. I haven't earned anything. I haven't progressed anything. Like, it just feels like a giant waste of time.
Yeah, because you're not even getting loot drops for completing the first encounter. So
like, you don't get anything.
Right. You only get something for finishing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am fully aware this is Old Man Yells at Clouds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
already told my son, I'm like, probably, because we will do this. I'm not going to give up.
Right.
Like, I am too stubborn to give up.
Right.
So we will get the class items that he wants.
But it's really frustrating.
But I told him, it's like, this is probably legitimately the last time I will ever play Destiny 2 now. It's like,
I don't blame you.
Completely killed it for me.
Yeah. And
I don't like where they've gone with it. And that's why I put in there, it's like, I hope people who still enjoy Destiny, I hope this, they enjoyed this. But my God, I don't like this at all. I don't like what they've done with any of this.
It's especially frustrating too, because like for most content, you would just bring someone in like me that's played it for far too many hours and be like, oh yeah, this encounter, you do this and you do that and you shoot this thing and then we're done. All right, let's keep moving on.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-player only thing, and if you don't know anybody else that you trust that's playing Destiny 2 to play it with your kid, and honestly, most people aren't playing Destiny 2 anymore anyway, it's kind of just the two of you.
Yeah, which I don't have an issue with, but it's just, I don't know what they were... like, I would want to ask them, it's like, what... were you only expecting people who put in, like, 40 hours a week with this game to beat this game?
Right.
Because that's kind of what it feels like.
It
almost feels like I'm being
audience?
Punished because I only do jump in every once in a while to help out my son with random stuff.
Yeah, like, is the expectation that it's supposed to be like an end game activity where you have to have all your stuff set up and your loadout and your gear and everything, or is it kind of that middle ground, more friendly thing?
Yeah, but I've also felt like Destiny 2 has kind of done this already. Like, I feel like I've already had this rant about other things of Destiny 2 before. Sure. And like I said, if they just took out the timer, like, that is the only thing that's killing me on this thing.
Right.
It's just so stupid.
And the bummer of it is, like, it's tough because, like, the timer is why I enjoy it, but I enjoy the, like, breakneck, running half-cocked, like, difficulty of it. But this mission is a means to an end for getting you the class items, the exotic class items for that complement the prismatic subclass. So, like, that's the gateway to unlocking more of them. But if you're having trouble with it, it's frustrating that, like, you keep running up against this brick wall of, like, I want this thing to finish my build, but I can't, and I just need to keep, like, beating my head against it.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, too. Like, the enemies are constant. They don't ever stop. Right. Except for, like, the one exploration area that I was just talking about. There's no enemies until you get to the end. But, like, when you're trying to hunt down these symbols and you're trying to relay these symbols to people and what you need to be doing, you are constantly being bombarded with things attacking you. And you're trying to avoid them, and you're trying to, like, clear the area, and you're trying to coherently tell somebody, hey, shoot the blue thing, but not that blue thing.
Right, the other blue thing. Yeah, like when I did it, it was Faeror and I did it. And even though both of us are pretty well versed in Destiny, that initial encounter where it's just, I'm trying to call out the symbols, she's trying to do this thing with shooting in them, I'm trying to defend, and like this constant waves of enemies, even for us that are like doing raid clears, that was a pretty intense fight of just, you're spinning too many plates at once.
Yeah, but outside of that, though, I mean, it's Destiny 2, so it's just this one mission.
To be.
Yeah, and everything leading up to this, like the missions that you had to complete and the extra side stuff that you had to do to even unlock this mission, I was fine with.
Yeah,
like,
that stuff's fun.
It's just this one mission, and I'm fine with it being difficult.
Right.
But it seems stupid difficult for no real reason compared to everything else that I've done up to this point in the game.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it just feels really weird and frustrating.
Yeah.
And that's why I have to rant about it.
My recommendation for you over the next couple of days is probably to watch a guide for this from like Fallout Plays or Datto. Those two are going to sort of be your best ones. And I think I don't go into most of these missions blind because I don't like that either, of just like, what am I supposed to do? I've been in here for an hour. What am I supposed to do? Like, I think that for me is pretty frustrating too. So that'd be my recommendation.
Yeah, that's pretty what, because there was a couple written guides that I had read.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one in IGN where they completely miss that there's a third moat section that you're supposed to do. They do the 2 and then they show you, okay, now you're on to this one. And my son and I were both like, no, there's a third one right here.
I'm still picking stuff up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even some of the stuff online is kind of weird, but yeah, I had planned on watching a video and stuff on it too, just so I could try to know ahead of time what to expect in the newer areas.
Yeah.
But we'll get it.
Yeah.
You just may not hear me talk about this game for like another month or two.
It will be the last thing you do, but it will not beat you.
My final game this week is I played Terminator Resistance.
Oh.
So
this is the one from the RoboCop developers, right?
Yes.
RoboCop game.
Tyon.
Oh,
I'm playing the
PS5 physical copy of it.
Yeah, of course, not digital. I'm playing the PS5 Enhanced Edition. There was a PS4 version of this game that came out in 2019, and then they released a PS5 Enhanced Edition in 2020.
Okay.
So in preparation, so my buddy, the one that I went in the pre-show when you guys listened a couple of weeks ago, when I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine with my buddy, he was the one that told me before that movie started, hey, the RoboCop game that came out, Rogue City.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Rogue City? Yeah, Rogue City.
Yeah. Yes.
Is really good.
Yeah.
You should play it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll check it out. I got to buy the movies because I haven't seen RoboCop in like years.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'll get the movies, and the movies were a little bit harder to find. So then while I was researching the game, I was like, oh, they made a Terminator game before this one, before the RoboCop game. Well, now I want to check that out. But now that I started getting the movies for RoboCop, I need to get the movies for Terminator because I have not seen 1 or 2 since I was probably a kid when they came out in the 80s and the 90s.
Right, since you were too young.
Not have been watching them. Yeah. So
the question is, have you seen all the rest of the Terminator movies?
Because I'd only ever seen 1 and 2 as a kid, and I am aware that there are other movies after that. I had never seen them. I'm not a huge Terminator fan. To that point, apparently there's books and stuff that are good to read as well. I have not gotten that far, but I guess word on the street is just watch 1 and 2, and we just pretend that the rest don't exist.
No. I'm sorry. We're completionists in this neighborhood.
That's
You're watching them all.
Well, I only bought the first 2 movies, so
there you go.
And so this game, the reason why I only bought and only watched the first 2 movies is because this game, Terminator Resistance, takes place 30 years after Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, okay.
It's following, what do they call it? So, believe it or not, anytime time travel is involved, the timeline gets heavily convoluted. This game takes place in the future war scenario that is depicted in the first 2 movies, so in the era of 2028 and 2029.
Okay.
This is considered canon.
Okay.
Like this is an official. This is an official.
A lot of hand waving going on there for someone who just said the word canon.
Right.
Because, like I said, timelines. So this is an officially licensed Terminator game. It's been approved by who was it? James Cameron that did.
He did too. I don't think he owns it, but he did too.
Okay. So it's licensed. James Cameron has given it its giving his blessing.
James Cameron said, yeah, you can make a video game, whatever.
Exactly. So, in this particular timeline, it is canon. Reading into this, while I was waiting for the movies to come in, while I was finding them, there's like 8 different timelines for the Terminator franchise.
100%.
I am not breaking down any of that for you guys.
I can do probably 6 if you want.
Oh my.
Yeah, there's a ton. So... What I forget. I think I wrote down because even in my notes I have the Terminator timeline is a complete mess. So this is just I think the future war scenario is the timeline that is only connected to 1 and 2, Once you start getting into 3 and Genesis
thank you very much.
And whatever the other one is, because there's 5 movies
Salvation.
altogether.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Yeah. Once you start getting into those, technically each one of those movies after 2 is a completely different timeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because
go on, Moon.
3,
I'm not gonna hinder this.
3 pushes Judgment Day back by about 15, 20 years, roughly, and then Judgment Day happens again, but it happens much later.
Yeah.
Genesis is a time loop timeline where Skynet arrives. Yes, essentially. And Salvation basically is a different timeline following on from 2, where it's like, oh, hey, by the way, it's not just one Terminator, it's several. So a different Terminator shows up. Sorry, it's a carry on from 1. So it's a sequel to 1 and 2. Yeah. So it's a different T-1000 shows up and completes its mission. Therefore starting another timeline.
But the best part is that I have figured out, and Moon, correct me if I'm wrong, there is no media for the original timeline that leads to the first Terminator movie of that T-800 being sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor.
There is no... So, other than Terminator 1, Terminator
Salvation... The original timeline that technically happens before that one.
Yes, there is no anything really that covers that.
Okay.
And I forgot, you've also got the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which is a different timeline as well.
Is that a TV show?
It's such a good show.
Okay, I've seen it pop up a couple times, but anyway, sorry. Well, this whole thing's going to be a tangent, so whatever. So, all right. So, you play as Private Rivers in this game.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't say John Connor, because I was going to lose my mind if you said John Connor.
John Connor does show up later on because of key events, but you play as Private Rivers. You were part of the Pacific Division in California. This is obviously Skynet has already attacked. We're 20 years past Judgment Day of Skynet nuking the entire world. So it's already past Armageddon. People have come out of their little homemade shelters, and then robots start showing up. And I think it's really interesting. Hang on, I'm gonna tangent here again. I think it's real interesting with how this story goes that you actually get that brief knowledge of people started coming out and no one had a clue what had happened, like why bombs were going off.
Yeah, only 6 people on the planet knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, and so people started to rebuild, and then all of a sudden machines come out of nowhere and start killing people.
Right.
Okay.
And it was like, so you get a little bit of that story in this as well. But anyway. So, Pacific Division completely wiped out by an infiltrator model. And you, as Private Rivers, you're trying to make it to South Division to warn them about this new model that's just all of a sudden shown up and completely took out a whole division by itself. And on the way, you come across a bunch of scavengers who you kind of, not really party up with, but you kind of group up with because you're kind of heading in the same direction. Because you also have to warn them about the Annihilation Line that is happening. The Annihilation Line is a line that's coming from the north of California to the south of California, and it is just a whole horde of everything. Terminator, spider bots, missile platforms that are just decimating and literally leveling the Earth.
Okay.
Once 1 mile at a time.
That's a good
to
name
make
for it.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just saying the Covenant did it best. They glassed the place and
more efficient.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just flattening the Earth to that point, and then they are continuing on, miles at a time doing this to make sure everything is dead. The game, and that's pretty much the whole story for this. You do eventually find South Division. There's things that you need to figure out. The game aspect for playing this is a mix of a couple different things. I said in my notes that it kind of looked a lot like Fallout 3. Kind of graphics wise, like Fallout 4 from the PS4, graphics wise that way.
Right.
But there is a lot of just, hey, there's like cinder blocks knocked over, there's randomly chairs here kind of thing, that kind of assortment of stuff. You got the busted up buildings. You play in a kind of semi-opened area. The maps are just really big, but it's not like a flat plane like Fallout. It's more just, hey, you have this map and you can go follow these trails, and this trail will lead to a bigger spot in the map that you can fully explore, and then it kind of goes back down into a smaller trail. And once you've explored that area, you go back to your camp, once you've completed your mission, do whatever, and then you go back out either to that map or a different map. And they get progressively bigger, and then you kind of go back and revisit old maps as the story continues because of story reasons. But they're always done up differently. Paths that you had taken beforehand are laid out differently now because the Annihilation line's getting closer. There's different enemies in the area as well now. Go ahead.
And for anyone that's listening, I thought this was the top-down tactical game. This is the first-person shooter.
Correct. Yeah, I think the top-down one's coming out later this year, next year.
I couldn't remember if it was out yet or coming out soon, but it's not that one.
Yeah, no.
Was that Dark Fate?
Dark Fate, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, because the Terminator names are not complicated enough. Dark Fate - Defiance. So Terminator : Dark Fate - Defiance.
Perfect. Love it. Good job, guys.
So, as you're exploring this, you are opening doors, scavenging, finding crafting stuff, because there is crafting in this game. Finding ammunition. The crafting actually isn't that bad. I played this game on easy. Mm-hmm. There is no difficulty trophy for this, so I'm like, easy it is. That's how we're gonna run this.
It's $40, by the way.
Oh, okay, that's a little better.
This game or the other one?
This one.
Oh,
Terminator
I got
Resistance is currently $40.
I found it for $35 because they were trying to purge their physical inventory, so $35.
Yep.
So that's why I buy physical. Yay! So as you're exploring, you find all this stuff. They do have skills tied to levels. So there's a lockpicking minigame, which is 1-to-1 ripoff from Fallout.
Of course.
Like it's the key thing, and you're putting the bobby pin in with the other one. And
Dying Light does the same thing too. I'm sorry, but when you perfected the lockpicking minigame, you don't need to do it.
Yeah, just copy and paste it. I would rather.
Why doesn't Starfield have this lockpicking minigame is what I would like to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's 1-to-1. You see it, you know what you're doing.
Right.
And it is very, very aggravating when you get to the harder locks and you're trying to find that pixel perfect slot to just barely move it into to get it to unlock. But the whole crafting thing is fine. You can craft more ammo. You can craft health packs, all that stuff that you would need. Bombs, pipe bombs are a big thing. With the man, I am just bouncing all over the place. So with the leveling, they have 3 different fields. There's like science, survival, and like tech, I think it was. Every time you get a level, you get a point. You can put a point into weapons, makes you shoot better. It's all common stuff. Toughness, you put a point in there. Oh, you take 10% less damage. Your health bar gets a little bigger. Nothing complicated. Shooting feels fine. Like, I didn't have any problems with the shooting in this game. I did have to adjust it just a tiny bit so that I could move just a little bit faster because it did feel a little slow to me. But like, I was just running around blowing things up until the T-800s show up. When you start, you only have human weapons. M16, shotgun, that kind of thing.
Yeah, give me them laser rifles, boy.
Yeah, those don't do anything to a Terminator. Now, all the stuff that you were fighting beforehand were like the little spider bots that skid around the ground. They're giant armored spider bots and like drones that fly over the head. M16 shotgun all day, works fine, could be better, but whatever. You use what you got. When a Terminator shows up, you're not doing anything. And even on easy mode, these are things to be feared.
Okay.
And normally I am not a fan. The biggest gripes I have are enemies that you can't damage. I hate those. I hate it when they turn into a stealth section kind of thing too. Gears of War with, what is that, the Banshee or whatever.
Yeah.
Berserker, thank you very much.
Berserker.
Yeah. Biggest complaint of that area. All right. However, for some reason with Terminator, it feels right. I shouldn't be able to run up on that thing. Even 100%. On easy mode, I shouldn't be able to run up on that thing and go toe-to-toe with it.
Right.
And you can't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. There are certain monsters, creatures, villains, whatever you want to phrase it as, who are so legendary at this point that they don't need to be tweaked. They don't need. They should be scary and hard. Yeah. The great franchises. Again, the Xenomorph is another perfect example of, hey, this should be scary.
Right.
Thank you, Alien Isolation, for making this thing absolutely horrifying.
I just want to call out my own hypocrisies before people are like, well, you didn't like it in Gears of War. Yeah, no, I still don't. It sucks in Gears of War.
Right.
However, in Terminator, I seem to be perfectly fine with it. Even later on, when you
just respect the Terminators and Skynet more than you respect the whatever they're called.
That's right.
The Emergence people.
I respect lore, and this is lore accurate. But like even when you get there, you do eventually get plasma weapons, Gen 1 and Gen 2 plasma weapons eventually towards the end of the game. Even with the Gen 1 plasma weapons, you don't want to go toe-to-toe. You want to do ambush tactics with a Terminator. And if there's more than one, you want to think about how you want to go about fighting them.
Right.
Because they do have different versions. There's the normal one that everyone sees that's running around with its, well, not running, but like walking with its little plasma gun. There's a flamethrower version. There's the T-45, which is like the big Hulk-looking thing. They have an HK tank that you see, and then you eventually get a boss fight with
HK.
it.
Oh, but HK is so good.
So,
Boston, since you probably haven't seen it or can't remember, HK stands for Hunter Killer, just so you know.
Yeah. So, the way that boss fight goes is it doesn't move, and you have to shoot it in its back to get to its generator with a rocket launcher. When you do that, it knows where you're at, and it turns to you. And if you're out in the open, it will flat out kill you, no problem. So you have to hide, and you have to shoot it in its head, or what everyone in the game kept calling its head. I just could only see searchlights because it was so bright. You have to shoot it in the searchlight. It confuses it for a moment, and then you can run behind it and shoot the generator again. And it'll call in ads. So I don't know if that's the kind of fight you're looking for. It felt fine, especially when it started calling in ads, but it doesn't move and the buildings are indestructible, which is how I also cheesed the T-45, because that thing was a massive pain to try to shoot, and I did it way too early. But anyway, so with all these other different versions of the Terminators that you get, you have to go about them all a different way. And I actually had one scare me because I was in a garage and the door was lowered and I had to crouch down to even get underneath to go through it. And so I shot one of the flamethrower ones, blew up the fuel tank on its back, thought it was dead, and it wasn't. It crawled around the truck and then stood up, walked up to the door that was behind me, grabbed the door and lifted it all the way up so that it could walk up behind me.
Jeez.
And that scared me really bad because I was trying to fight another flamethrower one, so then I had to run through a vent to get away from them so that they could lose tracking on me for a minute. So a lot of fun, weird moments like that. All in all, though, I just had a blast. I did bring up that there is a stealth variant to this, and there are only some parts in this game that you want to stealth in. And that is, there is a level where you complete a thing and it says, hey, they know where you're at, you need to get out of here. And I'm not going to ruin it, what the story thing is that's happening here. But if you stay in that area, there is literally a horde of Terminators going to that location.
Oh, wow.
Like, I saw them march in a line. And I was like, oh, that's creepy. And I was thinking, they'll probably all stop once they get to a certain point in the level. I had hacked turrets in this area that I was in and made them friendly. I get about halfway from escaping from this line of Terminators, and all of a sudden I start getting experience points. Because the turrets that were all the way at the end of this building that I was in when it told me to leave is killing these Terminators that's showing up in that area.
Oh.
So if I had not left when I did, I would have been cornered and potentially screwed because I only had human weapons, which don't do anything.
Interesting.
So there is a good sense of dread and caution that you start to feel whenever you see one of those things. And you're like, oh, I can't take these on head on. What can I do? What in the environment can I get around? What in the environment can I blow up or distract them with? So that way I can get a couple shots off. So that way I can run. You know, you just need to do guerrilla tactics with them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had a total blast with this game. And there's another mode that came with this. They released the Infiltrator DLC that came free. I believe both versions get it. The Infiltrator mode is a roguelike. I did not know that when I started playing it. I have nothing but good things to say about this.
No, don't put this on the list, Boston.
No, I'm not adding it on the list.
Yeah, no, you don't need to. But what happens is when you start this mode, it tells you flat out, hey, you're playing as a Terminator.
Okay.
There is no saving in this mode. Takes roughly 45 minutes, to play this mode. Do you want to continue? And then you pick easy, normal. I picked easy. You go in here and you start out, you are a heavily damaged Terminator. Like the skin, like you can see the metal bits on the inside that you shouldn't see. So you're obviously not infiltrating as a person right now. You drop in, you have nothing. You have no weapons. But you have an ability that you can grab people and throw them. So you turn on your little Terminator view mode, which is red. And I will say I got what do they even call that? Red blindness, I guess. Like it's so red that when you click it off, I could feel my eyes physically adjusting from the red.
They're sizzling.
Yeah. So I had to use that sparingly after a while. But when you pop that on, it highlights, okay, these are humans here. So that way you can tell them apart from the destruction and everything that's all over the place. I went up and grabbed one from behind, and then I threw him into the other guy, and then just proceeded to pound and ground.
Right.
And then got their weapons. And every time you kill a human, each human usually has a piece of information on them.
Oh, okay.
As you progress, you have like at the top right, you have like this little meter that says, hey, when you get like 10 pieces of intel, a point of interest will show up on your map. So that'll lead you to like, hey, you can go to this location and you will find more intel at that location, so that another point of interest highlights. The whole point of this is that you are trying to find the vault or the shelter that this commander is hiding in, who's named, so that you can kill them. Terminate them. That is your mission, to terminate this individual. As you explore, you can find points of interest with more intel, and if it wasn't highlighted before, it'll highlight after you've cleared it, so that way you don't have to go back there for it. But everything, from what I was reading online, everything is randomized. Where the points of interest are, where weapons you find are, where even the shelter is at, it's all randomized. It's never the same going back in after you've played it. For you to be able to heal as well, you have to find fallen Skynet things, because there aren't anything else Skynet that's active. It's only humans. So you have to go through and scavenge like repair kits off of them so that you can heal yourself, and other weapons and intel as well. And the whole point is just to terminate this one individual, and then that's the end of the game.
Interesting.
And I spent an hour and 41 minutes playing this mode, and I successfully completed it. And I had a blast playing it after coming off of playing as a human the entire time, and then popping in as a Terminator. And you're taking like humans who are shooting you with weapons are doing like the tiniest bits of damage.
1
to
pixel.
You. Exactly. And it's like, all right, cool. This is, they're keeping with the lore. And then some of them have plasma weapons as you find them. And so, okay, that's starting to do a little bit more damage, but it's still not enough to really make me worry about it. The part that made me worry is that the final shelter, the one that I ran into, it's kind of you bust through the door, you get bullet time, and there's like 9 or 10 guys standing there waiting for you to come in because they're waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like 3-4 seconds of bullet time to try to take out as many of them as you can before they just start unloading on you.
Oh, wow.
And it was tense. The first room that I had to clear out was very, very tense.
Yeah.
I threw a lot of pipe bombs into that tiny little room. So, but I absolutely love this game. Terminator Resistance was a fantastic game, and I am super looking forward to playing RoboCop. Because and Terminator was pretty much critically panned, especially the PS4 version. PS5 version came back a little bit better. But this is definitely one of those games where it's like, if you look at people who have played the game, everyone who enjoys Terminator rated this really high. It's pretty much like the best B tier game that you can get nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's why everyone says about RoboCop too.
Exactly. Everything that I'm seeing about RoboCop looks to be exactly the same. And everyone's like, if you played the Terminator game, the RoboCop game is improved off of that game. And I'm super excited to check this game out now. I am just waiting for the RoboCop movies to come in so that I can rewatch those, because I also saw those way too young and haven't seen them since. So I am really surprised at how much I really liked that game. Like I said, I beat the game in 15 hours, and then with the enhanced version, since it came with the DLC, I had 2 more
wish list.
I had 2 more trophies that I had to get with that, and then I got the platinum.
Nice.
So for the platinum, it was like 17 hours altogether for me.
That's not bad at all.
No. But I just had a blast with this game. It felt like there's run and gun missions in this game where it's like, okay, you just keep pushing the line. Like, that's all you do. And if you're not playing this as like an 80s movie where you just have infinite ammo to dump, you're not playing this game right.
Right.
It's just I feel like that's how it was meant to be played as. Don't try to stealth. You're just robbing yourself of XP in this game, and you need all the XP you can get so that you can get to those sweet plasma weapons.
Right.
So yeah, Terminator Resistance. If you like Terminator, I would highly encourage you to at least check this game out. I know it goes on sale digitally quite a bit. I think in the last sale it was down to like $25. So
that's not bad.
And like Moon was saying, even brand new, it was $40, and I would pay $40 for this. So
nice.
Check it out. It's a great game. I love it. I'm probably still not going to watch the rest of the Terminator movies, though.
That's okay.
I'm just saying, maybe one day.
I'm saying it's your loss. Like you get the full range of the cinematic experience if you watch the entire Terminator franchise.
Right.
Reading wikis online, nobody in the past 20 years
Salvation
has got the
is
full
great.
range of
Salvation is great.
But yeah,
so that's Salvation is great.
I mean, that's fine. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge it. I don't even know why people hate it. I assumed it was bad acting at first, but I think it's a lot of people just not liking how the stories went, how it converges timelines, and
the reason people don't like Salvation is because it essentially overrides 2, and also the 2 leads are females. One is a female of color. So
how could they?
You can take your guess about what crowd don't like that particular movie.
Nazis.
Whatever. I just tap on the window of the Terminator timeline. Right. Like, I'm not. Yeah.
No.
So yeah.
All right, I got 2 quick ones here. I didn't have a lot of time this week, but I did play a little to the left. Do my dailies, the daily tidies, of course.
100 to go, baby.
Yeah, I think I'm tomorrow. I might get the 7. It's either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll get the 7 in a row daily tidies. So we're getting close to that. I am on to chapter 5 now in the main game itself. I liked chapter 4 for about half of it. I didn't really like the ending of it, though. That was it was a lot of ones where you're matching symmetry. So you're like picking things off of things to make them match, or you're laying out leaves to make them match sort of down the middle. That's not really the stuff that I like. I like the most. I like the parts that I like the most of A Little to the Left is where it's like a counterpoint to unpacking. Like, I like when this game is packing rather than trying to organize things in like sort of an artful manner.
Yeah.
So that stuff is okay. I think I'm like halfway through Act 5 now at the moment. And Act 5 isn't too bad. So I think the most frustrating part about A Little to the Left for me has been, I think it's just kind of an uneven experience, really. And even when a chapter has a theme, it doesn't always kind of stick to that theme. Like the symmetry chapter wasn't all just symmetry. It was kind of half of this stuff and half of that stuff. And I think that is a little bit to the game's detriment. I once I finish this, I will probably pick up that like cupboards and drawers DLC. Because the more that I look into that, that's the stuff that I really like. Where it's like, all right, here's just a bunch of junk and a drawer. Go sort it. And it's like, yeah, all right, yeah, that's the stuff for me. So I'll probably skip that up. And both of the pieces of DLC, the other one's like stars and something. Both of them are well under $10, so it's nothing super crazy. But a little to the left, but do my dailies, my daily missions, trying to get to, and like I talked about, I think it was last week, I kind of like how the dailies do the kind of like the remix of some of the levels. They're harder, they're more complicated.
Some of them are harder, or
yeah. So that's kind of neat. It's not just like, oh yeah, I did this level, do it again. All over again. So that's kind of a fun little change. So, only other game I played this week is Dredge. I managed to finish it. I got both endings. I got the
show off
quote unquote good ending first accidentally because I explored too much, and then I had to look up how to get the other ending. Both endings are really good. I think I am pretty pleased at how much this game leans into the more eldritch side of it the longer you go on. I think that's to its strength. I think some of the story choices they made are really strong, and I really wasn't going into this expecting any story stuff, but kind of coming out of it pleasantly surprised. I have been now I've been focusing a lot on the Iron Rig, which is the DLC that just came out. That so far has been pretty interesting because you're revisiting. It takes place on the same map. The Pale Heart, I think, is the other DLC. That's a whole new area down the south. I haven't even touched that stuff. I'll be heading there next. But this is, because of events that happen on the rig, you're revisiting some of the other areas, and there are new fish and crabs and things to catch in these areas. So it's been kind of nice. I've been accidentally doing some of that stuff as I've been doing the regular game, so it's been nice kind of double dipping into both of those at the same time. And nothing in there has really been anything different. They introduce a whole bunch of new characters, but they also tie in some characters from the base game into that as well, which I thought was kind of fun. And so far it's been really good, but I think for someone like me who's kind of deep in it already, it's more of the same. But I'm not coming back to this game after a year or two and being like, oh, it's just more of the same. I'm like, yep, it's more Dredge. Here we go, great. And I part of my excitement, I think, is because the base game itself never overstayed its welcome. I think I cleared it in about 15 hours, maybe 20 hours at most, and I have 2 trophies left for the platinum. And they're basically catch all of the fish, which includes the rig and the Pale Heart. If you don't have the DLC installed, it doesn't count those. and then catch all the aberrations, which are like the mutated fish, which includes the rig and the pale heart. So like once I complete those, then I'll complete everything across those trophies and for the platinum.
Nice.
And a lot of the rest of them were like, do all the side quests, which I'm going to do anyways. There's 21 of them, something like that. And the rest of them are like, at some point you get, let's call them powers. Use them in interesting ways. And once you pick them up, you can look at the trophies and be like, oh, okay, I can do that pretty easily, or I'll mess around with that a little bit and kind of do that. So, I really like Dredge, man. It's the game that I've wanted to play when I have been sitting down lately, and it's the one that when I have like half an hour or so, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll catch some more fish in Dredge. Why not? I could just do a little bit more here. I'll catch some more aberrations if I can in this area. And I'm now getting into trying to... I have a very large boat at the moment because I've kind of upgraded it all the way. But you still kind of have to do the Tetris of how do I fit the most rods and nets in the specific area in the ship and kind of manipulate them to fit the most so I can kind of fish the most things. But then at some point the fish that you're catching get bigger and stranger shapes. Like you move from just regular cod or whatever that maybe take up 2 or 3 spots. So like a black-tipped reef shark, which takes up like 5 in a straight line, and then like the fins kind of poke out at different angles. So like how do you fit all of that stuff in your boat at the same time? And that's... I'm sort of looking at Backpack Hero being like, okay, yeah, you're kind of like that too. All right. Yeah. So I wish I had more to talk about it. I really don't want to spoil any of the stuff. The game has largely been like, go collect the things and bring them back and see the ending. And I really like it. Go play Dredge. It's really cool. And like I said, I think, one of the things I've been the happiest with is it really didn't overstay its welcome. And I'm sort of worried about games like that these days, especially for sort of smaller teams or indie teams, where it's like, I want to keep putting more stuff in this. I want to keep putting more game in this. It's like, yeah. Not always a better thing, maybe.
I would say just release a solid 5 hours and then do DLC if you want.
Right. Like, by the time I finish this game at, like, less than 20 hours, sometime between 15 and 20 hours, I was like, yeah, I could play more of this. And thankfully there are 2 more pieces of DLC. I might be pretty done with it by that point, but it's been a pleasant surprise to play something where I'm like, yeah, it ended and I can keep playing more of this and be pretty happy with that. So
yeah.
Dredge, it's in the PlayStation game catalog. At whatever tier that is, I don't really care anymore. It's all gibberish to me at this point. So you can go check that out there. That's all I'm playing. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right.
Terminator was that same thing for me this past week, though. It's like all I wanted to do was sit down and play that game.
Right.
So stupid.
It's great. love it when you get a good B game.
Yeah, there's still enough quirkiness that I didn't touch on, that I talked about, that I'm like, that's like a serious Alpha Protocol like contender for me.
Right.
It's like just pop that award on there and like there you go, slap it on the box. This is what to expect.
You got an easy entry for that.
Yep. It's broken in weird ways, but God, did I have a fun time playing that dumb game.
That's right.
And I forgot, didn't even bring this up either. The 2 stupid sex scenes that it has in this game for like no reason.
Great. It is a 90s movie.
Yeah, it's like a super soft tier scene for both of them. And I'm like, why is this in here? This is like, and it's got the weird slow guitar music,
of course,
playing in the background. I'm like, this is making me feel uncomfortable watching it.
Perfect.
Oh, it's such a dumb game.
All right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
400 releases. Yeah. All right.
Hey, I'm just glad you didn't put a bunch of notes about ONL in there. I'm like, cool. Don't really want to talk about that anyway. So
we're talking. I have things to say, but not about the things they showed. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of August 26th, 2024. World of Warcraft: The War Within comes out on PC and OS X. We are certainly not the people to talk about WoW in 2024.
Is this the new expansion?
Yes, this is the new expansion.
Okay, good to know. I didn't know.
It's funny though, because like I with stuff like this that I don't know much about, I try to go and see like what's the general feeling about this expansion or new DLC or something like that, especially for something like World of Warcraft, where I'm 15 years removed from cursing myself with playing in this game. I looked at this, and it's, of course, all the usual stuff of, like, the savior of World of Warcraft, WoW is back, I can't believe it's the best time to play, etc., etc. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, we can, okay,
cool.
Yeah, doing the Sonic cycle again. We're at that point. So, I hold no ill will to those that are playing World of Warcraft. I'm still playing Destiny 2. I am, brothers in arms here at this point. But it looks cool. There seems to be a bunch of cool features, so hopefully everybody is enjoying it. Get thee away from me, Satan. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Next game here, Core Keeper, comes out PS5, Series consoles, PC, and Linux. This is Game Pass day and date. This came out, I think, in early access a couple years ago. It's a 1 to 8 player, like, exploration, crafting, mining, kind of 2D top-down thing that looks pretty cool. I tried to get an impression of how this would play as kind of a single player versus a multiplayer thing, and most of the impressions that I'm seeing from people are like, yo, it's actually really good, you should check this out. Oh, with friends? Yeah, sure, that's fine too. So
okay, cool.
I feel like if this is kind of your thing, it's probably on your radar anyway. This seems like a really great Game Pass game, though, of, yeah, just a couple of us, we're looking for something to play. Let's play this hunting, mining, fishing, crafting, building thing. So that's Core Keeper. Check that out. Crypt Custodian comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This is they call it a charming Metroidvania, where you are a cat who has died, and now you're set up to clean up the afterlife. So it is pretty interesting looking. I've been seeing a lot of GIFs of this on Twitter lately after they've been kind of ramping up the marketing for this. It looks pretty cool. It looks like something that's definitely up my alley of just this Metroidvania exploration combat sort of thing, but it doesn't, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like it's super hardcore. Like, it doesn't, from what I can tell on the surface, it's not like, oh, here's the Hollow Knight version of this where it's gonna punish you, but it looks pretty cool. Looks interesting. So check that out. Crypt Custodian. Risk of Rain 2 gets a native version for PS5 and Series consoles. Of course, the Gearbox trailer here calls it the next-gen upgrade. Stop. Current gen. What? Stop. Yep. This is kind of the usual thing of, like, now it's going to move at 4K. It's going to run at 60 frames. It's going to be, you have DualSense features, things like that. Got couch co-op. And all of that stuff. It's not a huge upgrade. Risk of Rain 2 ran pretty well on these consoles already. So I think if you've been already playing it, I don't think it's going to really be super huge. The second expansion, Seekers of the Storm, will be available at the same time as well. I think I saw that's $15. So you can check that out as well. If you haven't played Risk of Rain 2, check out our We Roguelike It episode, weroguelikeit.com for the links there. We had a good time, except for the end of Risk of Rain 2. That's miserable and a trial and should be illegal in the Geneva Convention. But, the rest of it, really good. Risk of Rain 2. Next game here, Akimbot. It's just Akimbo with a T on the end. Comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. I was trying to struggle how to describe this game. I think if you're looking at something like a PS2 third-person action platform shooter thing, it's exactly like that.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank, Jack games, things like that. It seems like it's kind of a modern-day homage to how those games played and were. So it looks pretty cool. I think graphically looks really interesting, and it looks like they've got some neat ideas in here, and we don't see a lot of those games pretty much ever. So I think that's pretty cool. Akimbot. That's a great title too. Next game here, Amio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club comes out on the Switch this week.
My son was playing the demo for this today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it threw me off. Because I was like, oh, what is this? I'm like, at first I thought he was playing Danganronpa.
Yeah.
The name sounds like a horror game.
It is. It is. So it's the sequel to the Famicom Detective Club games that came out on the Famicom, was it 35, 40 years ago? The Switch got those two, lightly remastered, kind of upgraded versions 2 years ago or so. This is the sequel to those, so it's like the one of those long-awaited 35-year sequels, something like that. But it's very much the first person. If you played the Ace Attorney games, it's very similar to that. It's the kind of adventure, visual novel, detective sort of thing. So interested to see how this is going to do, because I haven't played the Famicom Detective Club games yet, even though I'm fairly sure I'll enjoy them. But this seems like they're taking this and kind of taking the next step with it. So that'll be cool. I'm excited to see what reviews are going to be for that. Next game, very similar, Squirrel with a Gun, comes out on PC. This is definitely one of those games that it says it right on the tin what it is. You are literally a squirrel holding a real life-sized gun and wandering around and causing chaos and solving mysteries.
Hold on. This is to scale. You are a squirrel-sized squirrel holding a gun.
A human-sized gun.
Yeah.
Human-sized world.
A gun that is larger than your squirrel body. Yes. So
I'm just saying, where's my Xbox page so I can wishlist this?
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised it doesn't have any console versions yet, but I think it's only a solo developer that started this, because it seems like one of those things where they posted it on Twitter and they're like, I gave the squirrel a gun, and everyone's like, hey, that needs to be a game. Remember Untitled Goose Game? You should make this a game.
Reindeers with guns, or whatever that thing was called.
Yeah, it's Deer Simulator or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's Squirrel with a Gun.
October 15th is the Xbox Series X release date, by the way.
Perfect. Right around the corner. There you go. Squirrel with a Gun. Incredible. Hey, Vampire Survivors.
Woo.
Comes out on PS4 and PS5 this week. So you want to know the only thing that I will have played come next week's episode, you can probably assume what game that is going to be. I also haven't checked out the Contra DLC, so I'm excited to check that out alongside this. And all the DLC is going to be available for purchase when this comes out. And remember, this game. You don't even mention the PS4, PS5 trailer. You know what the garlic looks like. And you know there's no vampires.
The pull
in this
quotes are gold.
Yep. Ponko makes some incredible trailers for these. So I'm really excited to pick it up, not only because I want to play Vampire Survivors again, because it's incredible, but I want to check out some of that new DLC. I don't think I ever finished Among Us.
I bought all the DLC and never played it after we finished it on We Rogueliker.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't completed all of the Contra stuff yet. I got stuck on something and just never came back to it.
Yeah, and I never played too many of the adventures either, so I really want to dig into some of those this time, because the one with Poe was okay, and I get the impression that was kind of the weakest of all of them, and the ones after that are pretty good. So check that out. Next up, Visions of Mana comes out PS4, PS5, Series consoles, and PC. I don't believe there's an Xbox One version of this, but don't quote me.
Shock of shocks.
I mean, we're lucky it's coming out on any Xbox platform, since it is a Square Enix game.
I was say, did they release the other two Vision games on Xbox?
I don't think Trials of Mana came out. I think that was just Switch and PS4.
Well, I will do a search for the word mana in my Xbox.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it didn't get an Xbox release.
I didn't think it did either, but...
Yeah. But this is a brand new...
This is Visions?
This is Visions, yeah.
Okay, Visions is there. The next thing that shows up after Visions of Mana, there's 7 different variations of it in the store, is Farm Manager. So probably not, no.
Yeah, assuming. But this is a brand new... Mana game. They're saying it's after 15 years, which sounds longer than I thought, but I also don't doubt it, because the last couple that have come out have been full remakes, from what I understood, of like, you're remaking Seiken Densetsu, you're remaking Secret of Mana, you're remaking this or that or the other thing. So I'm fairly sure that there's a demo of this out here. People that have played the demo have not had super glowing reviews of it, but who knows if the demo's indicative of the final performance of the game or what. So
I
don't know. The Mana games are always cool. They're blue sky, they're fun. You play them on the couch with a bunch of people and you have a good time. Like, I don't know if there's couch co-op on this one. I would hope there would be. But that's kind of what those games are. They're not the heaviest of lifting sort of things. So next one here in our final release, Star Wars Outlaws comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. I keep forgetting about this game. This is Ubisoft Massive made this, the team that made...
It's the Division people.
Yeah, Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora and Division 1 and 2.
And Avatar got rave reviews, despite the fact that I haven't actually played it. It's meant to be a genuinely fantastic game.
Yeah, that's also surprisingly what I heard. And they're kind of making one of those for Star Wars, a big Ubisoft open world Star Wars thing, which really sounds like it's a weakness for me. Can you capture towers? Because I like capturing towers. I'm a sicko.
Dude,
God, I hope not.
You get a speeder bike instead of like a car. You can ride your speeder bike around. Like, you've no idea how much it's... Right? It's hurting me so much to not buy this game.
Yeah.
I am just waiting so I can get critic reviews and user reviews.
Yeah.
But people who got it early, everyone, so far, it sounds like this is a pretty decent game.
Yeah.
Which is what had me worried, and which is why I didn't pre-order it. Because, I mean, Ubisoft seems to be a coin toss on if it's going to be a good game that's being released or not.
Yeah, and also, like, you need to see from people, do you like the Ubisoft formula or not? Like, if I say it's a Ubisoft game and it's good, I'm a sucker for their repetitive formula, and it will get me every time, and I know that. So
it's checklist gaming, and we like a good checklist. We like a good bar filling up.
Yeah,
they had already started before we even saw real gameplay. They had already started their Ubisoft BS of, hey, there's 2 DLC for this. If you want it, it's only tied to the $100 version of this game.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's why I just didn't pull the trigger on this. It's like, it could be great, but we'll find out when everyone else pays for it.
Yeah, and also the thing too, Don't buy Ubisoft games for full price at launch. You wait even like 3 weeks.
They go
and
on
it will be
sale
$40.
real quick.
Yeah, like don't just be cool. Be cool. That's all of our releases for this week. So let's talk about our big news story this week that I was expecting to spend a whole bunch of time on, which is the Gamescom Opening Night Live 2024. And then it was bad. It was literally video games, the video game, trailer after trailer. And I know that's like the Jeff Keighley special. This one was especially like 10 minutes on Call of Duty Black Ops 6, bro. You don't even need to show that. You just need to show a gun and the logo, and it'd be like, yep, 2 million people just pre-ordered it. Like, you don't need to, like, Arc Raiders got a CG trailer with no gameplay. Stop it. Those are the games you show, like the indie games you show. Okay, we have a couple of highlights and lowlights here to talk about. Borderlands 4 was announced in like the funniest way, because like it felt so much like Gearbox and 2K were like, huh? You didn't see that coming, huh? And it's like literally everybody saw Borderlands 4 coming. What else are you going to work on? Moon, you said it yesterday. You're working for 2K, Gearbox. You're pumping these games out. After Borderlands 4, Borderlands 5 is coming a couple years after that. Guess what's coming after 5, buddy? You're making Borderlands games.
Like, no. After 4 is the next Tiny Tina game, and then after that is 5, and then after that is the next Tiny Tina game, and after that is 6.
Oh my God, is that the curse?
Well, yeah, because Tiny Tina sold like gangbusters, dude. That game did mad numbers.
It really did. Yeah. So like this funny of like, huh? It's like, yeah, man. Like, of course 4's coming out. What? Like, I'm not stupid. So like, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. After 3, I feel like Gearbox has a lot of goodwill to earn back, because 3 was, for a whole lot of reasons, was not received very warmly. So
I don't think I ever played 3. I think 2 might have been the last one I played, and even then, I can't even remember if I beat 2 or not.
Right.
I didn't play anything after 2.
I played some of 3. Like, my wife and I played
I didn't play the weird Australian spin-off either.
Oh, the pre-sequel?
Yes.
Pre-sequel was good, actually.
I played some of that too, but didn't get into it.
Hell of an ending. Whew. Whoa, man, that was good. But like, my wife and I played a lot of Borderlands 2 when we were dating, and when 3 came to PS Plus, I think it was, or it was on like Supercell, I was like, all right, let's pick up Borderlands 3. This game is impossibly long. We got a ton of stuff to play. I think we made it like an hour or 2, and I'm like, I can't start another game on Pandora with this robot again and do the same things. Please God. Please God.
Yeah, but Boston, it's played by Jack Black in the movie.
I know. He's so funny. He was Bowser. Peachy. So like Borderlands 4, whatever. Literally no gameplay, no storyline stuff. We will see. I'm sure it's going to be the only thing we hear about coming out of 2K and Gearbox for a while here.
It doesn't help that the movie also just came out and was pretty much panned by everyone.
Yeah. So let's talk about something good, though. Dune Awakening. Oh no, I've seen a trailer for this and it looks like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah. Come to Arrakis, Boston.
They cut a real good trailer for Dune Awakening. There's a lot of neat looking stuff in this. Like some of it is like, yes, this is a Dune MMO.
One of us.
Lisan Al Gaib. But like I think they made something here that looks pretty cool. I have a whole lot of questions about, when you look at something that is multiplayer or massive multiplayer or whatever this is going to be at the end. Because this
I have so many questions.
Yeah, because like for the longest time, this has been, it's the Dune MMO, and I'm like,
And then they threw the word survival in there too, and I'm like,
yeah.
What does that mean?
And then there's like base building, like No Man's Sky, and I'm like, okay. And like the shooting looks pretty good, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, okay, sure. You want to do Starfield and do it good? Sure. We can talk about some of that, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, I will happily walk without rhythm. That's how I walk by default.
That's right.
That's why my hips are so messed up.
That's right. That's right. So, like, I wasn't expecting anything out of this, but it was a pretty cool trailer that looked kind of neat. So, I'm keeping a bit of a closer eye on this. I think some of this could be pretty cool. And I'm here to
less
tell you,
PvP, the better.
Yeah. And I'm here to tell you, the world of Arrakis is pretty cool, man. I don't know if people have heard about that. So
cool, horrifying, nightmarish. All tomatoes in the same basket.
Yeah, all of it similar. And then, oh Jesus Christ! Somehow Molyneux returned.
Wait, did you pull that joke from Remap?
No, I pulled it from
I have
the 400 other people posting it on Twitter.
Okay, because the latest episode of the Remap Radio, literally the description of the show starts with "somehow Peter Molyneux has returned."
Yeah,
it's literally the first line in their episode description.
So Peter Molyneux comes out to say, "I'm done working on those mobile games. I don't know what I was thinking." We're still running a mobile game, anyways. To announce Masters of Albion. Boy, that sounds familiar. Oh, right, he's making a Fable game without Microsoft. He's just...
Well,
no.
He can't technically call it Fable.
Yeah, so he's just calling it
Masters
of Albion and making a Fable game with the old Bullfrog staff. What? And then doing the Molyneux thing where he said, it's self-funded. It's not. He's funding it with the other game that's running right now where you're buying NFTs. Don't forget about that one. And then immediately starts with, this is the world you can create for yourself. Create everything in the world, including the ham sandwiches that your people eat. And I'm like, why are you letting him do this on stage again?
I can't wait for you guys to listen to the Remap Radio episode, specifically because of the ham sandwiches. Keep your ears open for that.
Why are you letting him do this again on stage? He's doing the same thing he's been doing for 30 years.
Hey, can we refer to this as Molyneux, please? Because this is the second time he's back again, doing the same bonkers.
Oh my!
This is ridiculous.
Oh my God! Like, why? Why are you? Look, I can understand why Jeff Keighley brings his best friend Hideo Kojima on stage for literally anything Kojima wants to talk about.
He's a fanboy.
He is 100% a fanboy. I respect it. I'm a fan of, I don't know Kojima myself. I might be a fanboy if Kojima wants to scan me into his brain scanning
I was going to say,
matrix he's making.
If Kojima offered to scan you, me, or Nimp, I'm sure we'd all say yes.
I'd do it for free.
I mean,
you
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever dumb project he's got going on, yeah, I want to see him.
I want to be the skin of the T800s in the future, and the only way I get there is by Kojima
letting AI
taking my skin,
scanning me into the matrix. Yeah. So you have to stop giving Peter Molyneux any feedback or stage presence or anything. I don't care what he says he's going to do. He has been lying to you for 35 years.
Wait, is this a black and white style game?
Yes. He's making a Fable black and white with the original Bullfrog developers, like the OG Bullfrog developers, and just saying like, oh yeah, it's a Fable game too. But like, don't tell Microsoft.
Hold on. I literally just caught myself because I'm looking at this video. I almost said, that looks like it might be cool.
No.
Which is the Molyneux
Slap
trick.
your hand. I'll hit you with the newspaper. It won't be cool. It won't look anything like this. Yep. It's not going to be any of this.
Oh, it'll look like this because it doesn't look great.
Yeah,
it just won't play like this.
Great. That's fair. Just, God in heaven, stop. And the only reason we're talking about it on this show is because of Ludacris, for him to be on Gamescom stage lying, and then everybody being like, oh, well, this game looks pretty cool. Yeah, it does. It's a lie. It always looks like this.
Yep.
God.
What about the AI that we get to hand our drawings to, Boston?
Yeah, what God.
Whatever his name was.
Oh my God, it's just Jesus Christ. So they did also announce Mafia: The Old Country, which I think is interesting. I certainly wasn't expecting a Mafia game to be announced.
Project Milo, by the way. Milo was the name.
Project Milo. Oh my God. Right next to LMNO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this one's pretty interesting. People really love the Mafia games, and they're sort of having a resurgence after Mafia 3 was really good. And they've been out there sort of saying, like, yeah, it's largely just going to be in Italian. We're going for authenticity here. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Sure. Make the big swing here for a big Mafia game. It get weird.
Let's not make the same tied and boring Mafia game. Like,
right.
The thing that 3 added in that was so great was you were a person of color as the protagonist in a time when neighborhoods were segregated.
Right.
Let's
get
go
cool
back
with
to
it. Like,
let's see them be violent against the Sicilians for not being real Italians. Let's see that aspect of it too.
Right. That could be cool. Not my type of game, but go do it. I like it. And then we had the Secret Level anthology show that was announced. I'm trying to find this here in this thing where Tim Miller came out on stage. You probably know him from directing Deadpool. Said like, hey, we do a lot of CG stuff for a lot of companies, and people are always like, yeah, maybe you guys should make a video game show. And we were all like, yeah, let's do that. So that's what they're doing. They're basically making, it's like 15 games that they're making. He also did directing on Love, Death, and Robots. It's that sort of thing where it's an anthology show. The Animatrix is another similar thing of just 15 unrelated episodes. They're going to be on Amazon Prime early next year? Later this year, December, I believe it is. So that's kind of neat. I can't think of another thing we've had with like a video game anthology show like this. So yeah, go do something like that, man. Try something new here. Sure, do a CG thing.
Try to make something good.
Yeah, like I'm very curious to see what the Warhammer episode is going to be.
Yeah,
that sounds wild.
It's just going to be crazy. Nothing but nonstop violence.
You give me 15 minutes of wild Warhammer stuff, and I'm going to be like, yeah, man, perfect. That's exactly for me.
Dude, there's some fine animations out there for the Warhammer stuff that's just wild.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of sisters chanting. Yeah, it gets crazy.
Yeah, it's some of the stuff is like Pac-Man, God of War, Sifu, Warhammer. They've got a bunch of stuff in there that's kind of all over there's a Spelunky one. Like there's a bunch of wild stuff in there. So curious to see that when it comes out. I'm sure we'll talk about that on the show once it comes out. But that was kind of it. The rest of the announcements were really just, hey, here are regular video games coming out in the video game trailer machine, which I feel like is my expectation every time that Keeley gets on a stage, which is fine, but this one seemed particularly egregious based on some of the other ones. So that's Gamescom.
Whatever.
The rest of Gamescom seemed pretty cool. So, there's a cool thing on Twitter happening where it's a Gamescom trailer costs $100,000, so here's a GIF, and a lot of indie developers posting cool GIFs of their game. So go check that out. There's some cool stuff.
It's a really nice trend.
Yeah, Kotaku did a really good write up on it. It was 17 games that they saw from there that was really cool. So go wishlist that stuff. If you see a GIF on social media or you see a video or something, and you think that looks cool, you need to go wishlist it. That helps out indie developers so much to get more eyes on it and get higher in the algorithm and get more promotion and stuff like that. So please go wishlist stuff. Even if you're like, oh, maybe I'll buy it 10 years from now. That's fine. Put it on your wish list. That stuff really helps.
It helps you keep track of it too, because my Steam list has a bunch of things wish listed. Some of those I don't even remember when I did that, but I know I was interested in it. So.
Yeah, you come back, like Steam will give you a notice where like this is on sale, and you're like, I don't remember adding them to my wish list. That looks cool as hell, man. Heck yeah, I'll play that game. Sure. All right, so that's our releases for this week. And news stories here, and that's our episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Please don't forget to join the Discord server. Got a real cool, chill community over there. You know, the best community on the internet, one might say, us. Got a real cool group of peeps over there. Please check us out, patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are numbers.
$5 a month tier is the recommended one. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Please, like we were just talking about, rate and review us on whatever podcatcher you can. If you listen to shows somewhere and we're not, please let me know, either on the Discord or just at TVGP on Twitter, tvgpfans@gmail.com. Let us know. 9 times out of 10, I didn't know that my podcasting platform can let me put the show on there, because they're kind of not great about letting us know that. Or Google has killed another project and then it changed over to another name. So please let us know if we're not where you listen. And like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You know, all of that stuff genuinely does help. Anything you like, any content creator, any podcasts, that stuff really does genuinely help overall. And we sincerely appreciate it. We appreciate you listening, and we hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Alrighty. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have... I'm trying to figure out if I want to say some of these or not.
Okay.
Not because they're bad or anything, but yeah. It's just
say them. This is the dartboard section.
A Wizard at the Table. 10-year anniversary of the Pinball Wars. The Pinball Wars are calling. I hate the stairway ramp. And then I will happily walk without rhythm. Like, really caught me. So that's why I was like, should I just say that one? Because that one's got my...
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Ask the fans, Wizard at the Table, how hard is it to be perfect? I will be the skin of the T800. And I wanted to say do, as in de, as in French for two, but Mullen 2 might be my vote.
I have Retail 1000, my hand feel. It's not that hard to be perfect. The Pinball Wars, the Covenant did it better, and I will happily walk without rhythm. I really like the Pinball Wars, personally.
Wait time, baby.
Yeah, I'm fine with.
But I'm open to if you guys feel super strongly about anything else.
I mean, I will happily walk without rhythm is good. So is Mala 2. So is the Pinball Wars. Like, they're all good is the problem.
To me, the Pinball Wars is just such a good title for anything.
If we want to do that, that's fine. I'd rather also... I'm fine with not calling out Peter Molyneux in our title. That's fine.
I also like that. Yeah.
I just can't get... Even when I said it out loud, and when I've been saying it in my head, all I can think of is Obi-Wan talking about, yes, I was a part of the Pinball War.
Of course I know him. He was me. He's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll circle Pinball Wars then. It sounds like that's our...
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 879 for August 26th, 2024. The Pinball Wars.
I knew your father. He was the greatest wizard I ever met.
No one even knows how it started.
The Pinball Wars. Pinball Wars never change. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Sorry, I almost broke your nymph.
It's worth it.
I figured, since you were so on the gun for it, I figured
as soon as you said that, I was like,
related.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm doing Obi-Wan. We're good.
All right. Bye, everyone.